Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your reading for March 2019. My name is Melanie. This is just a general reading, so of course it may or may not resonate for you. This may be applicable for Aquarius Sun, Moon or Rising signs, and if not, check your other sign positions there to see if it fits, and let's just dive right in. So I do a 5-card spread for the monthly readings. And the cards that came out for you guys are, in the past position, Queen of Swords card. The second card there representing current issues, the current situation, the Six of Cups. In the position of possible obstacles that may show up for Aquarians this month, the Nine of Swords. Representing any helpful tools that may be of use this month, the Four of Coins, otherwise known as the Four of Pentacles. And the outcome card for this month is the Knight of Swords. And that card lying down there, separate from the other cards, represents kind of the overall theme for the month. And I'll be reading from a booklet about that card. I use those cards more as oracle cards. So the card that came out for Aquarians this month is called Bushfire, and that represents rebirth. So what do all these cards mean? Let's trot through each of them and see if we can make meaning of what's been presented to us. So in the past, you have the Queen of Swords card. So that might be recent past or distant past, but it's past energy that may be influencing and impacting on issues in this month of March. So the Queen of Swords is swords, the suit of thinking, of words, of beliefs, of ideas, of communication, air signs, of which you are an air sign, along with Libra and Gemini. So the Queen of Swords herself is a quick thinking woman. She's perceptive, she's independent, she's confident, she has strength coming from within herself. She has been through some crap and she's come out the other end. She might present with a cool exterior, but inside she's quite soft and potentially quite fragile. She can represent, or this card can represent, some sort of loss or mourning, grieving, famine and the effects of that. But she's also about change and transformation, having gone through some stuff. She's about ideas that are ruled by the heart, really. So she's a very good communicator. She's good at bettering herself. She's very informed. She can figure things out. She can help other people organise things in their lives. She may be a good counsellor, a good therapist who can provide good assistance, and she's kind of can see the real truth of things. So in the past position, it looks like with her in the past position, you made a decision about something that you thought was wise at the time, that you thought through at the time and come to a conclusion and a decision about, in that sense that you didn't just impulsively make a decision about something or do something on a whim. You thought a lot about it, and that has influenced where you are now, whatever this is about, whatever issue or topic this is about. It's led to where you are now, and it was the best choice that you could make at the time. Once you thought about it and looked at the bigger picture of things, even though now you may well be in a position of going, geez, why did I do that? At the time, with the information that you had and some thoughtful processes that occurred, you made I think quite a big decision and you perhaps took advantage of some opportunities that were presented to you through some mindful thought. I know that's kind of vague, but let's see if it fits with the rest of the reading. And let's just note that you have 3 cards of 5 that are swords. So something to do with thought processes and beliefs and concepts almost. So moving on to the present month of March, regarding current issues, current situation, and the card there for you guys is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card about sort of about childhood and the past, old connections, things coming back from the past into the present, looking back at the past with the wisdom sort of age, looking childhood memories, past connections, old relationships, getting back to basics. May well be someone from the past coming back into your life, or or meeting someone that you feel like you almost have a past life connection with. It's sort of about reminiscing about the past, being quite nostalgic about something, you know, having good memories. It could be about a reunion of some sort. There's a possibility that you may be dwelling on the past a bit too much, being a little bit too stuck in childlike things or childish things. It's a possibility, but we'll just see if that's something to consider or not as we go along. I'm actually now wondering if, you know, this to me relates to the Queen of Swords card there, with a choice or a decision that you made in the past that seemed quite wise at the time, and here you are with this card looking back at something with quite a lot of fondness and nostalgia into your past, or there's some sort of connection with someone or something from the past, and like I said, a sort of possibly a reunion or somebody coming back now, but essentially which just kind of represents that cyclic nature sometimes of life, and a new cycle coming in and renewal of something almost. Perhaps there's been a revised way of looking at something in the past, or something is being redone. Interestingly though, what may present as an obstacle for you guys this month, and you have the Nine of Swords card. This is a card of intense worry, of real anxiety, of waking in the middle of the night, worrying and stressing about something, you know, having insomnia and sleeplessness, being very fearful, anxious, stressed out, being feeling like things are really weighing on your head, and you're just ruminating over and over on them. And how you know, when we wake in the middle of the night worrying about things, they're usually never as bad as they seem in the daylight, but at night, in the silence, in the darkness, they can overwhelm us with fears, with this kind of endless thought processes that go on in our head, and we analyse and overanalyze, and some things we need to think about and analyse, but other things too we can overanalyze to our own detriment. This card can be about the loss of something, and in a bit of a grief state about that, or it could be more about that intense sort of anxiety and overthinking, and sleeplessness that comes from really worrying about something has happened or may well happen in the future, and this is causing you a great deal of suffering now. So I think this is a warning against overthinking things and overanalyzing things. If you find yourself doing that, and I'd encourage you to get out of your head and more into your body, to get back in touch with your feelings, your gut instincts, practice some mindfulness, whatever works for you that quietens your mind and calms and reassures you, because right now it's possible that you are too much in your head about something. Moving into what may be useful and helpful this month, the Four of Coins card, or otherwise known as the Four of Pentacles. This card is about having some riches or of some sort, you know, having acquired some either money or a job or something practical and solid and secure and stable. It's possible you've come into some money, but you feel a sense of status and wealth in some sort, but you're wanting to hold on to that. In fact, you're usually with this card is a sense of kind of clinging to riches out of fear, and perhaps being a bit miserly with things, even though there's been a success. There's something that's a bit out of balance, and you're being overprotective about something, and you're kind of guarding things a bit too much. being a bit self-centered around things. But maybe in terms of this being in the helpful position, maybe you are needing to guard yourself against something that you have worked hard for. But whilst of course we want to protect our assets, so to speak, we don't want to hold things or squeeze things so tightly that they squeeze the life and the breath out of us, out of whatever it is, out of the relationships around us, that make us cut off from other people or build walls between us and people purely out of fear. I don't think that's a good thing. Sometimes with this card there's an association with hoarding as well. To me, if someone is hoarding something, they're very anxious. They have an underlying anxiety disorder. We can see a lot of anxiety showing up in that Nine of Swords card. So if you are very anxious and stressed about something that you're really worried you've worked hard for, and maybe it's, if something is coming back or someone is coming back from the past, or there's some sort of past connection there and you feel threatened maybe in some way about that, do something about it. See things in the daylight and try to be more objective about something and really tap into, what am I really fearful about here? What is that really about? It's usually not what we think it is about. There's usually some sort of core underlying primitive almost fear state that's being activated within us, and to me that would hark back to childhood. So that Six of Cups card there, often a lot of our patterns and behaviours develop in childhood and then we carry them through as adults, because they're the only way we knew or we know how to manage things, but typically they don't really fit with being an adult anymore. So something to just be mindful perhaps of not squeezing onto things too tightly, and to look at where those fears are. The outcome card for Aquarians for this month is the Knight of Swords. So see, we start with the Queen of Swords, we've got the Nine of Swords in the middle representing those worries, but we end with the Knight of Swords as an outcome card. So this night, knights are sort of soldiers and they're all about action and adventure. The Knight of Swords rushes into things. This knight is about communication and he's very action oriented. He's ready to fight for what he believes in. He's a defender. He's quite skillful and practiced at what he does. He can start battles because of what he believes in. He or she, of course. He's a bit of a hero, he may but he's very bright and stuff, but he may rush into things a bit too quickly. He's an agent of change, but you just have to be mindful of not of taking all things into perspective, rather than just rushing into something with a brilliant idea that you may have. There's a sense with this card that of being quite driven to expand in some way, and there's an eagerness that comes along with this card. So it looks like you'll be getting an influx, I think, of energy and drive to really charge forth in something, an idea or a concept that you have that you really believe in. Just be mindful of taking it one step at a time, to lay the foundations properly. There is a lot of forward movement happening now, but don't get sort of caught up in that need for instant gratification. Try to sort of balance that out. Maybe take some time for yourself to brainstorm ideas, collect your thoughts before rushing into something new. But there looks like there is probably some real energy, quite youthful energy coming into your life. Certainly by the end of March, that you really, it's sort of an idea or a concept that you really firmly believe in, and you're ready to fight for that, and you just want to charge in there with that idea or those new ideas that you have, which I think is terribly terribly exciting. Maybe you're now looking at something a completely different way and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I've just had this complete shift, which reminds me of the Hanged Man card, this kind of total new perspective on things. And now you're like, right, that's it. I thought it was this way, but actually it's this way, and I'm just going to dive right in. I just want to now read from this book regarding the card called Bushfire and Rebirth. I want to see, so this card represents the overall theme of this month for Aquarians. I just want to see if there's anything more we can get from this card and this book, from the Dreamtime Reading Cards. The Dreamtime is the Aboriginal Australian spiritual belief system. I'm just going to read now from the book about rebirth and see if this fits or can add in some extra messages for you. So traditionally, Aboriginal Australians used fire as a tool for managing their country. They often travelled around their country based on where food was available during a season. When they were finished in an area, it was often set ablaze. This was for a number of reasons. First, a lot of native eucalyptus trees need fire to germinate their seeds. Second, the clearing of the undergrowth creates new growth and ensures clear, fresh grounds for wallabies and kangaroos to graze on. This is how Aboriginal Australians managed the land they lived on for thousands of years. When you draw the bushfire card, it is a time of powerful cleansing. The apparent devastation that occurs is also very much needed and is symbolic of your own cycles of life and death. You have been given the chance to start your own cleansing fire and to send it in the direction that is most needed. When I think fire, even though you don't actually have any wands cards here representing fire, but I do think of energy and rushing forth, which reminds me of the Knight of Swords card. And that Six of Cups card reminds me here, they're talking about the life cycles, things coming back around. So allow it to burn the areas of your life you need to let go of, those which have become unmanageable and no longer offer you inspiration and growth. This card symbolises life cycles, new birth and rejuvenation. The eucalyptus or gum trees are like the phoenix. They rise from the ashes with spectacular colour and grace, as will you. Allow that which is no longer needed to be cleansed away so that you can fill your world with what is fresh and green and fertile. So maybe there is a growth process, a rebirth process happening for you guys in this month, and by the end of it you are completely renewed and have that sense of rejuvenation and a rebirth, and you are rushing out there into the world with a whole new way of thinking and looking at things that comes along with that Knight of Swords card. So maybe by the end of it you have managed to let go of some of those fears and anxieties that have been tormenting you in the middle of the night, that have been making you constrict and hold on to things too tightly. And by the end of it, you're good to go. Really good to go. So Aquarius, thank you so much for watching and listening to this reading. I'm very grateful. If it has resonated with you, you know what to do to show your appreciation of that. But I wish you all the best for March, and I hope to see you guys back in April.